Right guys, so I promised you I was going to do a little program on the surfboards and stuff. We've got a bit of a shitty day today in Durban. Wind's blowing, there's a little bit of surf but really small, and the tide's on a full low. But I'm at Surfblanks South Africa, and I've come down here with Jay, and we're going to do a little look around the factory, have a look at where the beginnings of surfboards, and go inside and chat to Travis. He's somebody that a lot of folks don't know. He's probably one of the most experienced guys in surfblank productions in South Africa. So let's go inside and meet him.
Travis is from Surfblanks. He's, in my opinion, the most knowledgeable human on foam in the country. For the late Max Wetland, Travis was fortunate enough to work with Max for many, many years. And like I said, this foam is a huge part of doing a good board, is the actual core. Yeah. And we're fortunate to work with Surfblanks, I think 22 years now. Yeah, so Travis has been a very big part of our factory and our quality. He's helped us when we started with the machines in the initial stages. He's been he's very computer smart, and he's basically so he's been very helpful to my factory's progress over the years. He's been our go-to with to do with files and problems and solving issues, and basically supplying us with a really good product from a weight. When we export, weights are very important, so they've been at the coalface creating products that are of international standard and quality for us to actually get into those markets. So without Travis, we wouldn't actually have a business. When I say Travis, Surfblanks, they've got an amazing team. They've got guys that have been here for a long time, the same pourers that have been blowing foam. I think Travis, he doesn't change staff regularly, so these guys have got a lot of knowledge and experience, and they were taught through Maxi. And Maxi, he's an icon in the industry. Yeah. And it was never about trying to do a cheap product. It was always about doing the best product. And when Gary took over with Mark and Travis, it just got better and better. They basically invested a lot into molds, into getting the product even better than it was. So we're very grateful to be involved with Surfblanks, and I've never bought another blank since the day I started buying foam from them 22 years ago.
Okay, Travis, you've been involved in the foam blank industry for a long time. I mean, your history goes back more than 20 years, and you started with Max.
I started with Max's son-in-law Chad Reed first. Chad Reed was here for a while, and then after Chad left to the UK with his wife and kids, Max came back in, and then I worked with Max for a good few years up until he passed away. So a lot of knowledge and everything comes from Max, but thanks Jason for the appreciation, but I must admit it's more of a team effort than just me. Without my staff, I wouldn't be able to supply anything. So it's more my staff that manage to keep things going. Keeping the staff happy is what keeps your quality up, keeps your business going, really. And
yeah, and it's a big collab with the guys who are building the boards as well, because they're learning and you learning at the same time. When you find things and changing things, I'm sure that's been I mean, if you've been doing it for this long, it's like you're reliant also on the feedback that you get from the guys.
Just without the feedback, like everybody goes, I don't want to say anything like it's negative feedback. Just there is no such thing as negative feedback. Any feedback is positive. If the guys are complaining about anything, it's not a complaint to me. To me, that's positive feedback that I can take to the quality of the blank, address what the problem could be, and
improve.
Improve and take it forward.
Hundreds.
So happy to listen to anything that the guys have got to say.
Great, man. Like super interesting, finding out how this has developed over time, and it's going to be great to go into the factory and have a look at how these boards are made, and obviously the blanks are made, and obviously there's been a learning curve over a long period of time, and things have obviously changed a lot as well. It's the core of the board, and it's actually probably the most important part of the board when you come to thinking of flex and all that kind of stuff. And we were actually talking this morning. Dave Rastovich has done a segment that he did, and standing on the board and showing you how the difference flex on boards and how important that is, you know, and like so this one's dead, this one's alive, so on. So yeah, the blanks are super important. So today we're just going to have a look around, chat to Travis, and find out a bit more about the production and how it all works, you know, and see, you know, have a look behind the scenes. I mean, it's my first visit to a blank factory, so yeah, it's going to be super interesting. And it turns out, I mean, they haven't had a camera through this facility in probably 15 plus 20 years maybe, and obviously there's a lot of secrets that the guys would like to keep to themselves. So yeah, we're super privileged to be actually given this tour. So yeah, big thanks to Travis for allowing us in here and for taking us on a tour. Awesome stuff, man. Obviously here you got an example of racks with finished products, a lot of blanks, obviously gluing and putting the blanks together. So we're going to have a look at the beginning process.
Yeah, we start downstairs first.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so this is pretty much where it all starts, is down here. Been Surfblanks is like a franchise, so we import our chemicals from Surfblanks Australia, which was originally formulated from Midget and Max Farrelly,
yeah.
And Max Wetland. They were very good buddies, and that's where it all started off back in 1964.
Sure.
Yeah, so with the chemicals coming in from Australia, we get them in the big drums. The drums are then kept in a fridge at certain temperatures before being used. From there they get measured out into a mixing bucket, and then the mixing bucket obviously gets mixed at certain speeds, certain times, certain ratios, all the secret little things that make the blank work in the end. So that's what happens down here. You can got the molds. They get the mixing and everything is done at the back. You can see the guys has just got the new buckets about to go of chemical, which goes into the mixers and starts. Once that happens, it will go through into a mold. Once it gets poured through the mold, it will come out. The paper is removed. And it's checked over.
Okay, so that's you have a covering paper on it, which then gets stripped off.
And then it'll be checked on the light for any imperfections, any bubbles or anything like that. And from there it goes into a steam room to cure overnight.
Okay, so it goes to the steam room to cure overnight. Okay.
And the next day, it's come out the steam room and then gets rechecked again on the light before it goes upstairs for glue up stages.
Okay, cool. Alright, yeah. It's obviously just a clean up before, this is before going into curing.
Yeah, so you're just taking the edges off the rails where it comes through the mold, cleaning up the edges. Everyone is blown at a certain density. Densities are color coded. So this was a blue blank, he's marked it with blue on the nose, and then that will go into the steam room.
Okay, so that's it going into the steam room to go and get cured. And how long does that take?
We do it overnight. And then
okay.
In the morning we'll get rechecked before it goes upstairs again.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So once they've been checked, we come up through the floor. The guys will pick them up, load them onto the racks. Once they're on the temporary racks, they'll get sorted into their different sizes and placement ready for glue up.
Tell me, what's the difference between your different color codes on your blanks?
So we start with a pink. A pink is our lightest density. Our density range would be from a pink to a green, blue, red, and then black. So looking nearly 20 years ago, and when Max and that was still around, a blue density was the standard density. That's what you would supply to most of like store boards and everything like that. A green density would be for a slightly higher performance, slightly lighter board. But as the years have progressed and as Midget had fine-tuned the chemicals, he's ended up making the formula so strong that the green density is just as good as a blue density. So a green has become more the standard than the blue has. It's such a versatile, such an excellent weight that you get out of the blank. The flex that you get out of it is great. So like anything from a pro to a beginner, I would be suggesting a green density. It's the guys that are looking for boards that are lasting a little bit longer. You know, the weekend surfers that want their board to last 2-3 years, and then you'll be looking at like a blue density board. The red densities, in my view, are more for like the long boards, like the logs, the nose riders and stuff like that, where you're looking for momentum down a
and you don't have not as much flex.
Yeah, the swell doesn't is not so strong, and you need the momentum of the board to keep going, and that's what I would say red is more for. We also use red and black for kite boards.
Okay, for strength.
So for the strength, and then the black we use for tow boards mainly. So the guys that are behind the jet skis and everything, those boards are really heavy. Some guys even add an extra weight in it to cut the chop off and stuff like that. So and more stringers.
Tell me something, just as a matter of interest, I mean, do you have any figures on like your difference in flex between say the top and the bottom range? How big a percentage you reckon flex is there?
So it changes. You're looking at about a 10% difference between each blank density. So like
of the different levels,
from
different
a blue
colors.
to a green to
so
a
you've
pink.
got there's a massive range between like a pink and a black.
And a black. Oh, definitely, yes.
So the one's super stiff and the other one's got a lot of. Man, and this is the kind of stuff that people really don't understand about these boards, and it can make an incredible difference. And this is what Rastovich was doing when he was standing on these boards and showing the flex, and this one's dead, this one's alive, and it's stuff like that people and especially people like lay guys who don't really understand the whole process, you know, don't actually understand how big a impact that can have onto the performance of the board and the flex on the board and stuff like that, you know. So this is super interesting stuff.
It's not just the flex, like anybody can create flex. It's controlling that flex, on controlling the recoil and how the board flexes through the bottom turn, and that spring back is the most important, the recoil of the board. The spring is there to hold your blank in place while the shaper is shaping it, to keep your rocker curve correct, and it's there for your flex properties. So obviously if you've got a thicker stringer, your board's going to flex differently to a thinner stringer. And add in different woods, like we use, well, I'll get to the woods later, but your stringer will change your flex as well.
Yeah, and then also your glassing. I mean, the thickness of your glassing, the cloth you're using, etc., etc.
How
it's like
far
a million.
You wrap your rail with your glass will change it. And
you fold over your rail. It's another strength thing which people, it's like not even thought about. There's obviously a pink, a more flexible, the blues, the greens we were talking about now, and okay, so here the some of the stringers being cut out. Obviously it's custom. Obviously the stringers are custom cut for the different blanks and lengths and stuff like that.
Each customer has their own specific stringer. Okay, so you have your personal stringer, and then everyone is loaded for each customer.
Now maybe we'll have to chat about that in the office just later, because it's super difficult with the noise, you know, and we can't basically get away from it. But super interesting, super customized. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just a piece of wood slapped in there and glued together. Okay, so while we were chatting, obviously in the cutting room there for the stringers, it's super difficult to get the audio there. So maybe if you could just go through that again. We were talking about what sort of woods that you're using and how that's done.
Yeah, so we use a 2mm biche that's imported. That 2mm biche is then layered up to make the thickness stringers we want. So if we want a 4mm, it will be 2 layers, 6mm, 3 layers, and so on. We also offer the black wood, which we would get the thin 2mm veneers, recolor it black ourselves, send it back to the laminators, and then they will laminate it to the thickness we want, and then that will then get placed into the boards. Other option is that we do like a red, white, red. So the white is the reference to obèche, and the red is a reference to a 0.5mm veneer of a harder wood. It's a sapele ply, or sapele veneer at least, that is laminated on the outsides of the wood.
So that red, white, red is a sandwich, basically.
It's a sandwich, yeah. So you'll have the
layers.
obèche in the center, and then the thin red wood on the side is where it changes your flex properties again. That's different.
So obviously the combination of what you're putting there has a big effect on the stiffness of the board and the flex.
Correct, yes.
So yeah, you know, when you see a pro guy flying down the freaking line doing like 100 miles an hour, and you're wondering why your board's not doing the same, you got to understand that these guys are tuned their boards to this degree that they actually understand what the flexes on the foam and the blanks are. So yeah, this stuff it's gotten so tech now that the guys are actually ordering different stringers for their blanks. So yeah, for the lay oak out there, this is like 100 miles, not too far, you know.
Mentioning before how the green has become more of a standard than a blue.
How many blanks are you guys producing here pretty much on a monthly basis? Most of your stuff is export.
Yeah, most of the stuff is export. We export through to mainly the European region. So we'll be manufacturing roughly on between 80 and 100 blanks a day.
Wow, a day?
Per day.
Holy shit.
So yeah, we like to cap it at 100. I don't like to do more than 100 because that's when the quality starts dropping.
Yeah.
So even if we do get extra busy, it becomes more of a timeline thing than rush the order and get it out. That's not quality first.
Common sense, yeah.
Common sense, yeah.
Okay, so what's really interesting as well is that Travis and them aren't only blowing the blanks, because they've actually imported a machine as well to do the cutting of the blanks. So they're basically able to cut blanks to specific models and then send the raw blank basically cut already to different guys in the industry and manufacturing. And it's been a huge boon for the other guys, really, because these machines are super expensive, and it's not a thing that a lot of the let's call the smaller manufacturers. I don't know how many. Do you deal with a lot of smaller guys as well who don't have machines?
Oh yeah, of course. So even the guys that are doing like backyard sort of shaping, a guy that wants to shape one board off on a weekend in a year, they get hold of us. We chat with them, assist them as much as we can, try teach them a little bit on the software so they can get familiar with it, and then they must put their own order through. We profile it and send it off to them. So from a backyard shaper to the professional guys that are ordering quantity to exports and everything,
and it allows them to access that technology, which is otherwise there's no way the guys would have that ability to do that because of the cost. So it's a big boon to a lot of the guys and the smaller guys and also guys, the bigger guys in the industry who need a backup or who need the capacity. So very interesting.
One thing I must make a point about on this sort of topic is the security of the files. Obviously you've got to work with guys like Channel Islands, Mayhem, Basel, maybe whoever it is. The security of these files are super important. You must realize that.
Have to be,
Can you imagine like people like trying to you'll get these guys phoning in on the weekend and go, I want to try and make myself a Channel Islands, can you cut me one of these? And you're like laughing off like a sick joke. So the security is most important to us. These files are kept under lock and key, and so there's no chance of trying to order some sort of other model. Give it up, don't even try.
You're going to get a base cut of whatever you want, basically. So look, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about here, and why we've been very sort of careful. I'm sort of trying not to offend anybody or tread on any toes, because these are like industry secrets, and there's stuff that's super sensitive, and we got to respect that for sure, and you understand the reluctance to be too open with stuff like this, and obviously the ramifications of that. So I'm super privileged to even be allowed to even come in here and do this, and a big thanks to Travis for allowing this. I've got to understand and respect that, and we're going to be now taken in to go and have a look at the machines and have a look at how this works. I know a lot of guys haven't seen this stuff in real life, so looking forward to that as well. So make sure you join us next week for part 2 of the Surfblanks episode. We go underground and go and have a look at the CNC cutting machine that Surfblanks have down in the basement, and chat to the guys, find out a little bit more about how the machine works. Travis gave us an idea of the different stringers. You can have a look at them post-cut, and we just chat about the machines, a couple of other odds and ends, and then also go into a few more interesting things. Travis does us a massive favor and breaks a blank for us, so you show the bend and flex without the stringers and how powerful these blanks are even without a stringer. So yeah, make sure you join us next week. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you then. Ciao for now.